Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel T-Spot. In this video, in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt makes a comeback for a new mission where the destiny of the globe and perhaps the whole human race is at stake. The most recent mission of Ethan Hunt is so vast, extensive, and epic that Christopher McQuarrie was unable to complete it in a single film. Dead Reckoning Part 1 is an epic movie that lasts well over 3 hours, yet Ethan's mission is still ongoing. We will go into great detail regarding the conclusion and important disclosures from the movie. With that in mind, let's take a closer look at how the most recent assignment of everyone's favorite Impossible Assignment Force agent turned out. What's the storyline of Mission Impossible? Dead Reckoning Part 1. Dead Reckoning Part 1 sets up its intended MacGuffin, which is 2 pieces of a special key required to operate a self-aware artificial intelligence program known as the Entity. In order to destroy the top-secret, undetectable nuclear Russian sub Sevastopol, National Intelligence Director Denlinger installs a prototype of the Entity at the opening of the movie. The Entity, being aware of itself and being unleashed into the world as it tries to control the truth, is an unforeseen consequence. A former foe of Ethan Hunt, Gabrielle, and the murderous Paris are only 2 of the human agents used by the Entity. Ethan leaves the IMF after learning of the key's 2 parts, the Entity and its intended use. He informs Henry Cherney, director of the CIA and former head of the IMF, of his plans. Now it's up to Ethan Hunt and his dependable allies, Elsa Faust, Benji Dunn, and Leather Stickle, to defeat the Entity before it becomes too huge and strong for any sovereign authority to control. Ethan and his companions are once more shunned by the government, and the U.S. administration is attempting to seize control of the Entity for its own purposes. While everything is going on, Gabrielle is working for the Entity, an adversary that can control any digital technology and is absolutely unseen and undetectable. It can also almost anticipate any result, as demonstrated by its algorithm's prediction that the key would be delivered to Gabrielle on the Orient Express during the suspenseful final of the movie. The truth is under the control of an invisible enemy. Hunt and his crew initially head to Abu Dhabi in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 to acquire the second half of the special key. After that fails, their goal leads them to Rome and in Venice, and it culminates in the action-packed scene on board the Orient Express as it travels through Europe with various people fighting for the key. Throughout the entire movie, an unidentified individual hires Grace, a con artist, to take the second half of the key. She becomes involved in Ethan Hunt's antics as he tries to persuade her to assist in getting the key. CIA agent Jasper Briggs, who is in charge of a task group trying to capture Hunt, complicates matters. The U.S. government is also carrying out its own activities to acquire both parts of the key in order to perhaps take control of the Entity. Later, it is discovered that the person who hired Grace to take the key was Alan Emitzopoulos, the White Widow from Mission Impossible Fallout. Sadly, the Entity tricks Hunt's squad into a matchup versus Gabrielle in Venice that they can't win. Even though Ilse Voss passes away as a result of the conflict, Ethan and Grace escape. Following the events in Venice, Hunt motivates Grace to support the group's effort to reclaim the key and stop Gabrielle. In Dead Reckoning Part 1, Grace plays a wild card role. She is a freelance, independent burglar who just got involved in the movie's plot to make money. At Wills, Grace has the interesting character arc in Dead Reckoning Part 1 since she undergoes the greatest change during the story, transitioning from a devil may-care thief to someone who comes to help Ethan Hunt's cause of helping the greater good. Her on-screen chemistry with Cruise is a lot of fun, and they share an interesting dynamic in the sequel. Grace finally decides to support Ethan and the IMF after seeing that no international power can effectively manage the Entity. Ethan performs a daring motorbike jump from a mountain during the thrilling Orient Express scenario in order to parachute in time and save Grace. Gabrielle manages to get the key in the commotion, though. Ethan struggles between wanting to get revenge on Gabrielle for killing Elsa and just carrying out the assignment. Agent Briggs, who chases Ethan throughout the story, only intervenes in time to prevent him from slicing Gabrielle's neck. While Gabrielle escapes, Ethan pulls off one more heist and seizes control of the crucial key. Regarding the action sequences, despite being in his 60 seconds, Cruise is still up for the task of providing a summer popcorn movie extravagance, and he pulls off amazing feats all throughout the experience with ease. The bridge that the train is on was set up to detonate by Gabrielle. Briggs is persuaded by Ethan to assist in moving all the train's innocent passengers to the back carriages, so Grace and Ethan may be separated. They are forced to go through multiple railway carriages that have derailed over an exploding bridge in order to save the passengers in time. After experiencing a change of heart after Ethan spared her life during their battle in Venice, a severely injured Paris leaps in to save Ethan and Grace from probable death. Paris tells Ethan that the Sevastopol, the Russian submarine that the entity wrecked at the start of the film and is currently submerged in the water, can be retrieved with the key. The entity's source code is kept on the sub's mainframe computer, and Ethan and his friends want to use it to disable the AI program, while the rest of the world wants to use it to command it. The entity wants to keep expanding and acting autonomously to rule the globe. Or perhaps it wants to wipe off humanity and start again. I'll explain it from the Terminator flicks. We won't likely get the answer until Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2. What will happen to Ethan and his surviving allies next? Since Ethan was able to get the Sevastopol key from Gabrielle, Elsa's sacrifice was not in vain. Now that they have the prize key, Ethan and his companions may be able to retaliate against Gabrielle and the entity. Gabrielle is still at large, though, and the entity's strength is only increasing. Grace is left to fend for herself with the CIA and Kittredge when Ethan is compelled to leave. Upon being imprisoned, Grace does as Ethan has instructed and joins the IMF, much as he did 30 years prior. Kittredge considers this development interesting. Even though Kittredge appeared to be ignorant that Denlinger had unintentionally utilized the entity to damage the Sevastopol and accidentally let the entity loose on the globe, Ethan and his companions may still be able to discover a possible partner in Kittredge. Leather decides to break apart from Ethan and the others. Leather has to discover a more secure way to create some code to interfere with the entity's algorithm and perhaps even create a code that can override it because it is so strong in the field. He is unable to do so since the entity appears to be able to hack or follow any electronic system, including the radio frequencies and computer of the IMF. Even if Ethan and his renegade IMF crew are busy, this is mission impossible. The loss of Elsa is a devastating blow to the franchise. Ferguson was always excellent in the character, and the latter two films seem to be setting up an intriguing relationship between her and Ethan that never really happened. Although Will did a fantastic job in this situation, it seemed like losing Elsa was necessary for her part. Ethan's crew must figure out how to reach the Sevastopol shipwreck at the bottom of the ocean while still grieving the death of Elsa in order to access the entity's source code and, if necessary, find a method to disable it. The emergence of the entity raises certain questions that McQuarrie and co-writer Eric Jenderson should have adequately addressed. Why the entity isn't just unleashing Scanet on humanity is still a mystery. Couldn't a computer program discover a means to make backups and redundancies if it were to theoretically develop sentience and self-awareness? Can the source code of a self-aware sentient computer program actually be deleted and permanently terminated? Throughout the story, the entity's technological prowess appears unduly handy to hamper the good folks. Yet, when appropriate, the live computer program acts more passively. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you soon.